If you're over 60 and still masturbating, you've probably asked yourself if it's harmless or if it's secretly draining your erections, your testosterone, and your confidence. No one ever told you the truth about what happens to your penis after 60. Doctors rarely talk about it, and men suffer in silence, wondering why their energy feels weaker, why their intimacy feels different, and why the same release that once made them feel powerful now leaves them tired, restless, or even ashamed. Science from the National Institutes of Health shows that blood flow, dopamine, and testosterone don't recover the same way after 60. That means what used to be harmless may no longer be so simple. Is masturbation protecting your prostate or slowly damaging your vitality? The answer isn't what you think. Before tonight, you need to hear this. If you're over 60 and still masturbating, your experience matters more than you think. Have you noticed your erections aren't as strong or that your energy feels different after release? Share it in the comments. When you speak up, you're not just helping yourself. You're giving another man the courage to heal too. And if prostate health, intimacy, or confidence are on your mind, hit subscribe. Join thousands of men over 60 who refuse to accept decline and are reclaiming their strength, their erections, and their vitality. Frank was 67, a retired Navy man who had spent most of his life disciplined, focused, and proud of the strength that carried him through decades of service. He woke up at dawn every day, kept his body lean, and followed routines that most younger men couldn't keep up with. But behind that steady rhythm, he carried a private habit he didn't talk about with anyone. He still masturbated daily. For him, it was routine, almost like brushing his teeth. He believed masturbation was harmless, that it kept his penis active, and that as long as he could still get an erection after 60, he was doing just fine. Yet in the last few years, he noticed changes he couldn't ignore. His erections felt weaker, his energy dipped in the afternoons, and intimacy no longer carried the same fire. After finishing, instead of feeling satisfied, he often felt drained, restless, and ashamed. He didn't understand why. He thought maybe it was just age. Maybe all men at 67 felt this way. Finally, Frank spoke to a doctor. Sitting across from him was Dr. Catherine Rotker, MD, a urologist who has spent decades working with men facing these very struggles. She leaned forward, listening carefully, and then said something that shook him. Frank asked, "Doc, I thought as long as I can get an erection, I'm fine." Dr. Rotker shook her head gently. "That's the myth, Frank. The truth is, your penis and prostate after 60 don't recover the way they used to. What feels harmless now can quietly wear you down." She explained how excessive masturbation at his age could place stress on the prostate, the small gland that controls much of a man's sexual function. Studies from the Mayo Clinic have shown that the prostate becomes more vulnerable as men age, and repeated strain without recovery can fuel inflammation and discomfort. She went further, describing how the brain's dopamine system plays a role. When you were younger, masturbation triggered sharp spikes of dopamine that your body could easily reset from, she said. But after 60, those spikes flatten. The brain doesn't bounce back as quickly. Instead of lifting you, it leaves you feeling flat, tired, even anxious. Frank was silent. The words pierced him deeper than he expected. Dr. Rotker continued, citing a National Institutes of Health study that found men over 60 who reported daily masturbation often showed lower erection quality compared to peers with more balanced habits. Blood vessels in the penis, already narrowed by age and sometimes by conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure, become even more sluggish when overused without rest. This is called endothelial dysfunction, the silent breakdown of the lining of blood vessels that weakens erections. She looked Frank in the eye. "This doesn't mean you have to stop completely. It means you have to respect the limits of your body now. Your penis, your erection after 60, your prostate, they all need recovery time. Without it, every climax chips away at your vitality." Frank swallowed hard, feeling the weight of her words. For the first time, he realized that what he thought was keeping him young might actually be stealing his strength. "There's a reason your erections feel weaker now than they did 20 years ago, and it isn't just age. The real enemy is silent. It hides in your blood vessels, in your brain chemistry, and in the way your body responds to stress. Most men never hear its name, but it quietly robs you of confidence, energy, and intimacy. That enemy is endothelial dysfunction. Inside your arteries, including the ones that supply your penis, a thin lining called the endothelium controls blood flow. When it's healthy, it releases nitric oxide, the molecule that relaxes blood vessels, so blood can surge into your penis and create a strong erection. But when that lining is damaged, the release of nitric oxide drops. Without it, your erections weaken, your penis feels less responsive, and you lose the firm, reliable performance you once took for granted. Harvard researchers have shown that endothelial dysfunction is one of the earliest warning signs of poor circulation, and it doesn't just affect your heart. The Journal of Sexual Medicine reported that up to 80% of erection problems in men over 60 trace back to blood vessel health, not testosterone alone. That means your erection is like a stress test for your entire circulatory system. If your penis isn't responding, chances are your blood vessels are crying out for help. But circulation isn't the only silent thief. The other is hidden in your brain: dopamine depletion. Dopamine is the chemical that fuels your motivation, drive, and pleasure. Every time you climax through masturbation, dopamine spikes and then drops. When you're younger, your brain rebounds quickly. After 60, that rebound slows. If you're still masturbating frequently, the repeated dopamine crash can leave you feeling drained, unfocused, even depressed. And when dopamine stays low, cortisol, your stress hormone, rises. Cortisol is toxic to testosterone. Studies from the NIH confirm that high cortisol can slash testosterone production by as much as 40%. That means more stress, less energy, and weaker erections. Combine cortisol with endothelial dysfunction, and you've got a perfect storm: poor blood flow, low testosterone, and a penis that no longer responds the way you need it to. This is why your penis feels numb some days, why your erection doesn't last, and why masturbation after 60 can feel draining instead of energizing. It isn't about morality or willpower. It's about biology. Your body is telling you something loud and clear. The habits that once felt harmless are now magnifying the silent enemies inside you. And here's the hardest truth: ignoring these changes doesn't just cost you erections, it costs you vitality. Left unchecked, endothelial dysfunction raises your risk of heart attack and stroke. Chronic dopamine depletion robs you of joy and intimacy. Together, they create a version of you that feels invisible, tired, and cut off from the man you used to be. But once you see the silent enemy for what it is, you can finally fight it. The good news is your body isn't broken. It's waiting for the right signal to heal. Endothelial cells, even at your age, can recover. Studies out of Harvard Medical School show that blood vessels can regain nitric oxide function in as little as a few weeks when they're given the right support. That means stronger blood flow, more sensitivity in your penis, and firmer erections without pills or shame. Your brain chemistry can bounce back too. Dopamine isn't permanently lost, it's just exhausted. Researchers in the Journal of Neurochemistry found that reducing overstimulation and restoring natural dopamine cycles can reset pleasure pathways within 30 days. For a man over 60 who still masturbates often, that means learning how to give your brain breaks so dopamine has a chance to refill. When that happens, you stop feeling drained and you start feeling alive again. Here's where it gets powerful. Simple, natural habits directly target both of these enemies. Eating one Brazil nut a day has been shown by NIH studies to restore selenium levels, boosting testosterone by up to 20%. Drinking clove or nutmeg tea stimulates nitric oxide release, improving circulation not only to your heart but to your penis. Even cold showers, just 2 minutes daily, have been proven to lower cortisol, increase dopamine by as much as 250%, and reignite your drive. You don't need complicated routines or expensive pills. What you need is consistency, because every small choice you make either feeds the silent enemy or weakens it. Every time you fuel blood flow, you make your erections stronger. Every time you let dopamine reset, you take another step toward real intimacy instead of hollow release. This is why balance matters. Masturbation after 60 isn't automatically dangerous, but when it's frequent, when it's used as your only outlet, it drains you. It magnifies endothelial dysfunction. It keeps cortisol high, and it leaves you feeling like your best years are behind you. But imagine the other path. Imagine giving your body the chance to heal. Within a week, your energy rises. Within 2 weeks, your erections feel fuller. By the end of a month, your confidence returns in ways you thought were gone forever. And all of it begins when you stop letting the silent enemy run unchecked. Here's what happens when you finally give your body a chance to reset. In the first 7 days, the shift feels subtle but real. You wake up earlier with more energy. Morning erections begin to return, sometimes softer at first, but present again, a signal your penis is regaining blood flow. Your mood lifts because dopamine is no longer on a roller coaster. Studies from the National Institutes of Health show that just 1 week of lower stress and better circulation can increase nitric oxide release by up to 25%. That means more oxygen, more vitality, and the first spark of confidence. By day 14, the changes are impossible to ignore. Erections grow firmer and sensitivity improves. You notice that masturbation no longer leaves you completely drained because your brain has started to balance dopamine and serotonin again. Cortisol levels drop, testosterone begins to rise, and your energy during the day feels steady. The Journal of Sexual Medicine found that men who improved circulation and lowered stress hormones reported a 40% boost in erectile strength within 2 weeks. That isn't theory, it's your body responding to biology. By the 30-day mark, the transformation feels like a second chance. Erections are stronger and last longer. Your penis responds to touch with the kind of sensitivity you thought was gone forever. Intimacy no longer feels like a burden. It feels alive again. Energy, vitality, and confidence flood back into your daily life. Even your face looks different because blood flow improves skin tone and muscle strength. The man who felt invisible just weeks ago feels relevant, powerful, and connected again. And this isn't just about sex, it's about reclaiming your identity. The Journal of Urology notes that men who restore endothelial function lower their risk of heart disease and stroke by up to 50%. That means the very habits that save your erections also save your life. You're not only fighting for a stronger penis, you're fighting for more years, more strength, and more moments that matter. This is the real timeline, not a miracle pill, not an empty promise, but a steady biological transformation that starts the moment you stop letting the silent enemy dictate your future. The most dangerous mistake men make after 60 is swinging to extremes. Some decide to quit masturbation altogether, thinking it will save their erections. Others do the opposite, using it daily as a way to cope with loneliness or stress. Both paths can backfire. When you stop completely, your prostate health can actually suffer. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that regular release, at least a few times a month, lowers the risk of prostate cancer by nearly 20%. On the other hand, when you rely on masturbation too often, you drive dopamine into exhaustion, raise cortisol, and weaken your erections. The Journal of Sexual Medicine has linked frequent ejaculation without recovery time to fatigue, reduced testosterone, and loss of sensitivity in the penis. Balance is what protects you. Your body needs release, but it also needs recovery. Your penis needs blood flow, but it also needs rest. The mistake is believing that masturbation alone will either destroy or save you. The truth is simpler. It's about controlling the habit, not letting the habit control you. Protect yourself from the extremes, and you'll protect your erections, your prostate, and your energy for the years ahead. If you're over 60 and still masturbating, it doesn't mean your best years are behind you. It means your body is sending you a message. Your penis, your erections, and your energy are not gone. They're asking for balance, for respect, and for a chance to heal. You've carried shame in silence for too long. You've been told this struggle is normal, or worse, that it doesn't matter because of your age. But it does matter. Your intimacy matters. Your vitality matters. You matter. So take this as proof that you're not broken. You're not invisible. You're part of a brotherhood of men who refuse to surrender to silence or pills. Men who are reclaiming confidence, connection, and strength, starting with the choices they make today. Like this video, share it with another man who needs to hear he's not alone, and subscribe so you never fight this battle in the dark. Your best years aren't over. They're waiting for you to claim them.